Content warning, y'all. We have lots of fun making this podcast, but remember, we watch a lot of R-rated films, use language that reflects that, and joke about heavy topics to create levity around these themes. If that doesn't feel safe or could be triggering, please take care of yourself. We want you to have fun listening too. This also means we might not be suitable for children. Oh yeah, and we spoil the end of all the movies we pod about. Thanks for listening. Yeah.
Top of the morning.
Technically, it's a couple days before St. Paddy's. This episode isn't coming out on St. Paddy's Day. It's coming out 5 days prior. The 12th of March.
Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Not the 11th?
Correct. I looked it up.
Oh, right,
I
because the
made graphics,
time change is on the 13th, which is
a Sunday, and it's coming out a little less than a week before, if all goes planned. If not, we'll do a retraction or something, but I'm going to be having a surgery, so we're saving...
a surgery, Sam.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's Christmas Day for us right now. We're
Yeah.
way ahead of schedule. Never mind that other episode that has already been released. It was recorded on Christmas Day.
Also, the one where, like, I think it's the crash episode, is it? Or I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember which episode where I'm like, we're not that caught up. Like, we're really, or we're like really caught up. Like, we're, anyway. Any hoozles.
Hey, follow us on Patreon.
Yeah,
give us money on Patreon.
Yeah,
follow us on Instagram,
check
Twitter,
us out on
TikTok.
Patreon. Yeah, patreon.com/ZNKpod. I'm going to be having surgery. I'm going to be having surgery. I'm going to be having surgery, and I'm going to be out of commission for a few days. And, I'm going to be, focusing on recovering and then fully transitioning into a man. Support some trans queer podcasters on Patreon if you are so inclined.
If you dare.
or are you transphobic?
Are you a
Are you
cis
homophobic?
Liberal?
Are you a cis?
Let me stop you right there.
Are you a cis or a sissy?
Welcome to the stage, Sissy's Paycheck.
Yeah. Patreon.com/CNKpod. And if you just want to support us, and you don't really have money to throw at us, you can go to our Instagram.com/CNKpod, and you can share our stuff and you can shout us out. Same with Twitter, twitter.com/CNKpod. We're on TikTok, all that stuff.
Thank you for listening.
Yes.
Bless you all day long.
We're
also,
so excited that you're
please
here.
do anything else.
Yeah.
We'll be eternally grateful.
Let us know what you're into. Let us know what we're doing that you like. Give us a review on
Let us
Apple
know
Pods. Literally,
where you like the fingers to go.
Literally anything that you could do to let us know that you're there and you're listening and you
and we're not just
I mean our listenometer or whatever, or listenometer goes up, like we see that there are listens. However, we don't make any money doing this, by the way. Like, if you notice, there are like no ads during this, like we don't have any sponsors. We're not making any money. So we rely on listeners like you to help us, in, continuing to create such quality work.
Also, just a random shout out to the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation. Apropos of nothing.
Is that a PBS thing? Oh, okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyway,
I'm a poor trans. Help me.
I'm a poor trans. Oi, mister. Are you me transition? I don't know what that voice
Are
is.
you me transition fund?
Yeah. That's my impression of Warwick Davis's Irish accent in this film.
That's pretty accurate. I think by now we might have our GoFundMe actually up and running. So we might,
I hope so.
that might be. I mean, technically it's alive, but it's not well.
Nor is it of sound mind.
Yeah, anyway. So yeah, hi.
I'll be there for you.
Ugh, God. Fucking Christ. Worst theme song ever. I hate it so much.
Yeah, it's not good.
And the fucking clap. Oh, God,
Or
I hate
even
it.
your year. Okay, so.
We watched Leprechaun.
I'm the leprechaun.
I had never... Had you seen it?
No.
Okay. I had never seen it before. This is one of those movies where, like, I had wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
And also I had not. I'm not... Okay. I wrote this down. But I'm going to say it a little differently than I wrote.
Okay.
Just in honor of St. Patrick's Day. I'm not a fan of Jen Aniston. And I mean, she's fine. Like, I don't think she's a bad actress. It's just like, I think it's just like one of those things where like the hype around her, like she's just really boring to me. Like she's very boring and bland and safe. Yeah. And she's like who you get if you're like, you know what we want? We want a white woman whose hair color is the same color as their skin. And it's just like, yeah. And when she was dating Brad Pitt, that was also like, people made such a big deal. But both of them, like, they would like go out wearing like tan colored clothes with their tan skin and their tan hair. Vanish. And it would just, I'm like, it was just like, you know, shades of beige.
They lay down on the beach and
like disappear.
Yeah.
Ooh, like it was so boring to me. Like, and people would be like, "Oh, they're so hot," and I'm like, I mean, part of the problem is that you're showing me a straight couple and you're being like, admire this, and I'm like, Next. Can't relate. There's nothing about this that's interesting to me. You know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's unfortunate because I think she's.
Fine. I don't think that she's a bad actress. I don't hate her. It's just like if someone's like Jennifer Aniston's in
I think it's like okay. It's too bad she is a celebrity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
for
totally.
Her. Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Yeah. Like, yeah, if she wasn't like she could have had like a really probably
like she could have been Parker Posey.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Right.
Because I think she's really decent at comedy.
Oh yeah, I think she's decent at comedy, and I also think that she's not a bad actress. But it's just like the hype around her. That sounds like so shitty. Like, oh, people making. I mean, I feel that way about anyone.
Well, I don't think it's her fault.
It's not her fault. I mean, also, I don't care about her because she's like a legacy. You know, like she comes from like an acting family.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I'm just like, oh wow, it must have been a real struggle for
never mind
you.
Yeah. Never mind then.
Yeah. To get into acting when I remember I saw her on this thing where she was like, because her dad was like her dad, I think it was like Days of Our Lives. He was one of the like main people from that was like on it for like many years,
decades.
And I saw this thing where she was talking about like her diet. Like I think it was like before she was on Friends. And she was like talking about how like this is her diet like 6 days a week, and like on Sundays she's like it's her cheat day, and I'm like, ugh, gross. I don't know. I hate when people. Here's the thing, diet means what you eat. Like everyone has a diet. Everyone's on a diet because a diet is just what you fucking eat. So. I mean, like, I think it's fine to change your diet in the sense of, like, here's how I think diets should go. Diet should be what you eat that makes you feel good. And whatever that means for you. And I don't care. Like, I'm not going to say whatever's healthiest because that's subjective and it's also classist. I'm not going to say whatever. It should just what you can eat that feels good to eat. And that's what your diet should consist of. And that's my health advice. And so like cheat days are so shitty because it's just like, I mean, it's associating morality with food and it's so fucked up anyway.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, fuck Jeffrey. So we watched Leprechaun, and I didn't know until like the day before when I was looking up screenshots to do the promo for it that Warwick Davis was the Leprechaun. And even so, I was like, am I wrong? Like, is it just like really like fucked up ableist shit where there's like just a bunch of like Warwick Davis pictures next to that? And I'm like, oh God, are they just comparing the two? And I'm like, I think it's Warwick.
Yeah.
Because I didn't actually look up the movie. I was just like looking up screenshots of it to try to like, because usually when I do like my preview, like, because this movie is part of our March hysterical madness. Get it? Because in March I'm getting my uterus ripped out of my vagina.
You're hysteria.
So I will no longer be hysterical. But I'm hysterical before it happens, but then I will lose my hysteria halfway through because my uterus won't be able to move around my body anymore.
Thank Christ.
The most insane thing to me is that, and this is like I don't even know how to classify it. If I classify it as like some sort of like sexual trauma or just like fucked up doctor I mean, because they used to give people like opium and shit like that and cocaine. But doctors used to masturbate women.
Oh yeah.
What? If they
that's how vibrators got invented.
Exactly, because doctors I don't know I don't even know what to do with it. I should probably look into it more and study it more and stuff like that, but what?
Yeah, I mean, the Victorian era really did a number on.
Yeah. I just hope when they do the surgery, they can find my uterus, because it's just who knows where who knows where it's gonna be.
Yeah.
It just goes crazy.
Right.
And when you have your monthly bleeds, it's because it's gotten to your heart and then it travels
is that what
back
it is?
down. Yeah, I think so. No, I made that last part up. I think it's actually just when. Anyway, yeah. Warwick Davis is in this. I love Warwick Davis.
Oh yeah.
I love Warwick Davis. Davris. He could do anything. Like, he could do anything, honestly. I think he's just.
We were talking about this last night. I have never seen Willow.
Yeah. I was obsessed with it as a kid, and I tried to watch it. I mean, this, like, probably, like, 15 or more years ago, I tried to watch it, like, once I was, like, an 18-year-old, a boy or an 18-year-old boy. And I was like, this movie's so fucking boring.
Yeah.
And I feel like, but I'm curious how I would feel about it now because it was made in the 80s. So there's like a whole, cheesy aspect to it that I would probably appreciate now that I probably didn't appreciate as much.
Right.
I
just remember being like seemingly a huge fucking hit.
Yeah. I loved it so much. And I think I loved it because there was like magic and like fairies in it, but I think that's what I didn't like about it as an adult. Like I obsessed with, because I you'll be surprised that as a kid I really liked things that were like fairies and magic and like
there was
glitter and princess stuff and like you're like you're actually this is like so fucking this is like very very queer neurodivergent of me, but like I identified with all these stories that were like, oh, you're actually part of this magical kingdom and you've been taken away from your family and you're actually the reason why you don't fit in with all these normies is because you're actually this like this
and that's a
creature
whole,
from this other and that's this whole that's like 1980s.
There were so many of those 80s movies. And I was just going to say there was a very particular, and maybe it's just because I was little, and like you, that gimmick always worked on me.
Yeah.
But it does seem like there was a particular high fantasy enjoyed a particular
and there's something about
mainstream popularity in the 80s.
Yeah.
And not even that mainstream necessarily, but there were breakthrough things like Willow
and Labyrinth.
Yeah, which I don't even know if that...
And Neverending Story.
Dark Crystal.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, Neverending Story. Yes, that's the
I've never seen Dark Crystal. I just watched the TV show.
We tried to watch the reboot.
We tried to watch it, and oh god, I was like, ugh.
But that's the thing. That's another one. Like I never saw as a kid. I desperately wanted to see it when it came out.
I didn't know anything about it, and I would get confused.
And then I tried to watch it as an adult, and again, Snoozeville.
I wanted to watch it because I knew Eddie Izzard did a voice in it.
Oh, what?
Yeah, and
the new one.
Yeah, the new one. Yeah. The new one. And I really wanted, but I
couldn't even get that far. She's
only on like a couple, like 3 or 4 episodes or something, and there's only like 8 episodes. And I was like, I don't even know when she comes in.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's not worth watching. People were like, oh, it's so good, and I'm like, is it, or are you is it just nostalgia?
Yeah.
Like,
which is fine. Just acknowledge that.
Yeah,
please.
absolutely. And I'm and like, there's no shade or shame.
Speaking of fantasy, 80s nostalgia, great video by one of my favorite YouTubers, Renegade Cut, on all those things about. He uses Kroll, that 80s fantasy movie.
Yeah.
Kroll as the touchstone.
Yeah.
But he's talking about that's his movie that he loves from his childhood.
Yeah.
But he's like, yeah, it's not good. Anyway.
Neverending Story was like the movie for me.
Same.
And as an adult, I think that's one that kind of holds up though, because as an adult you see like a lot of the thing, like when you watch it as a kid, they do a really good job of making it like a fantasy movie for a kid. But then when you watch it as an adult, you see like what the meaning behind everything is.
Right.
Like the fucking Artax getting swallowed by the Lake of Despair or whatever, and the horse gives up and can't.
Yeah.
And you watch it as an adult and you're like, oh.
It's fucking devastating.
Oh.
I think I was...
The horse gets sad to death. Ah!
Yeah.
Like as a kid you watch it and you're
I'm
like, oh,
tearing
sad.
up.
As a kid you watch it and you're like, oh, it's so sad. As an adult you're like, this is the most fucking devastating thing I've ever seen in my life.
I remember thinking that, I mean, of course that, but one of my first viewings, I don't remember if it was the first time I went, but the thing that really, I was like, oh, fuck, is well, first of all, in a time when I still thought I would maybe be a person who auditioned for things.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, yeah, I remember that.
I was like, I want to do the rock monsters monologue where he's like, look at his hands, they look strong.
Yeah.
But then my other favorite is, also it feels like a fucking play because there's so many monologues.
Yeah, right?
The fucking wolf.
I knew you were going to say that. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, there's so much as a kid or as an adult, you watch it and you're like, wow, I didn't get this as a kid. Like, I remember as a kid though, the fucking, I mean, gay, like, not backstory, but
reach around story.
What?
Reach around story.
It's like origin story. Yeah, gay origin story. The princess fucking in Neverending Story. Oh my
What's
God.
gay?
Me as a kid.
Oh, it's your
like watching,
gay origin.
Yeah, okay. One of my gay. Also Princess Leia.
Root.
Yeah, get my gay roots. She just okay. Yeah.
I was
but the princess in there.
The opening of Dune with Virginia Madsen.
100%.
They're like the same character.
Yes, literally. As a kid, like I associated them with each other, and that was like definitely something where I was like.
I mean, I didn't see Dune until adulthood.
Yeah, I was obsessed with Dune as a child. Obsessed, and part of it was.
How can this be?
For he is a Kwisatz Haderach. Yeah, but part of it was Virginia Madsen in that film. And her, there was just something about it was so weird. It's interesting to think about it because like I have always been really, really like as a kid, I loved those like princess sort of like like the Moonchild or whatever. I can't remember. I think that's what her name is in Neverending Story. Yeah. And then whatever her name is in Dune.
Yeah, who cares?
Virginia. And just like that like fairy princess sort of thing. I was just like so captivated by it. But honestly, like I don't like looking back, I'm like if someone put me in a fairy princess costume like that, I probably would have been like, what is going on? So, it's one of those things where I've always been really drawn to that, but like as an aesthetic, not really as something I want to
100%.
do. Yeah. I'm like, I want to be surrounded by that, but I want to be the weird outsider that everyone's like, you look different.
Yeah.
Why are you dressed in all black?
I don't want to be the princess or Treyu.
Yeah.
Either one.
Yeah. Right. I want to be.
I mean, we could probably all date. That's fine.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Which is not to say I want to date children.
No. But like, right.
As a child, I did.
Right. Isn't that so fucking weird though? Yeah. How like as a kid,
this came up once, hanging out with some friends, and a friend was talking about being a child.
Yeah.
But referred to someone his own age that he like, I don't know, kissed or wanted to date or whatever, and referred to her as a lady. And we're like, what the fuck? And he's like, well, no, that's how she was in my, we were the same age. So
yeah.
What am I going to say?
There's
child?
Like the, I don't know if I'm saying her name right. Stanzi Potenza on TikTok. I love her so much. But
shout out to the Omegaverse.
Yeah. She had a TikTok where she was kind of addressing like the weird sort of like attempt at like the counterculture to like over sexualizing children and how people like misunderstand like. So she was saying like people will be like, I don't know, she made a video about the dude from Heathers, the guy from Heather, like Christian Slater in Heathers, Yeah. She made a video about that character or something. I don't know. And it was just, it was just whatever. It was like, it wasn't even that big of a deal. And someone was like, he's like literally 17. And she was like, he's literally like an old man now. Like, and it was like this thing where they're like, you're sexualizing a child. And she's like, no. But she had this great point where she's like, if we have, like, if we're kids and we identify with a character or like have feelings for a character when we were a kid, that's also a kid. And then we grow up and we're still attached to that. That's not really, we can't really help that. And it doesn't mean that there's an issue. It just means that we have an attachment. And I feel like that's kind of how it is. Like, you will see these characters and you still have those feelings. Yeah. But you're not like, oh, yeah, and that means I like little kids.
Yeah,
you're just
right.
like, you're like, oh,
they're
when
like
I
peers.
was, as a kid, you see, like a thing that was, like, insane, like, to grow up is, like, and have changed. Like, I remember watching, I think I mentioned this in the Kindergarten Cop episode, where there's a scene where, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger knocks on whatever her name, he like knocks on her like classroom door and he's like, oh, I need your help with my class. And I remember thinking that the class she was teaching looked like adults. And I remember when I watched it and they seemed so old and mature, and like they consistently did when I would watch it as a kid. And then I watched it as an adult and I'm like, oh my God, they're like
12.
11 or 12. And but I had that like
Yeah.
connection that they were like full, like they were so much older than me.
It's just a college class.
And then, like legit. And then I like watching it as an adult, I'm like, what the fuck? And it's such a mind fuck that you're like,
Yeah.
I have grown.
Yeah.
And, now they're still older. They're still much older than me. Or, like they're still older than I am. But like in my, like, watching it, like at the actors, I mean,
Okay.
are like have now grown up and are
I
old,
see.
But they've stayed the same age in the film. So you're like, what the fuck?
Right.
I'm old compared to them. I'm probably older than the teacher in that scene. And
Right.
it's just like, what the fuck? And it's so I'm just connecting the fact that like when you kind of age out of, you have this crush as a kid and then you grow into an adult and you're like, I'm so much older. But that connection is still there, and it's such a weird, you're like, what a little baby. I was in love with you. What? And it's like this a weird thing that happens. Anyway, we watched a Leprechaun. And see you next week.
Thanks for listening. Aforementioned Warwick Davis, Jennifer Aniston.
Mm-hmm.
We got Ken Orlant.
Is that the dude that you said was hot?
AKA fake Picard Jr.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Mark Holton, AKA Francis, Pee-wee's enemy.
God. Oh, God.
Who plays someone who needs his brain fixed.
Oh, my God. He's like basically...
Ozzy.
Yeah, Ozzy.
What else?
We can get you an operation.
For what?
To make you smart. See, we can go to the hospital and have them operate and fix your brain.
But I'm smart.
Yeah. Well, sort of.
He's like a character that's like very much coded to be like autistic or just like have some sort of
developmental
Well, I
disability.
mean, I say autistic because like that's how autism was
I
coded,
know.
And it's like, ugh. Anyway, but everyone is so fucking mean to him.
Oh, yeah.
Constantly. Like, he's like, oops, I made a mistake. And they're like, you dumb idiot. I hope you die in a fire. Wish your parents had aborted you. Oh, when was abortion legalized? Because you should have been part of that. Fucking idiot, dumbass. Wish your brain worked. You're a waste of space. You're like the skin
Editor's
on the end
note,
of my
Z
brother's
is
dick.
hyperbolizing, but only slightly.
Only slightly.
Then we got Robert Hyde Gorman as Alex, who's the kid.
Yeah. Who I know from Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, I think.
Oh, shit. Shay Duffin plays Mr.
Or
O'Grady.
maybe it's the one where it's either
Adventures in
Don't
Babysitting?
Yes, that's what it is. There's babysitting in both of them.
No, same. We've been over this. I
Yeah.
do the same thing. I don't know. There's some other...
I really
People
need.
barely.
Yeah, who gives a shit?
Pamela Mant is Mrs. O'Grady in the opening sequence. So this movie makes no sense. It doesn't really... I would say it doesn't really attempt to.
That's fair. Yeah.
I mean, if I'm giving it, a pass.
Mm-hmm.
You said that you read that it was originally written as a sort of straightforward horror.
It was
and then
it was supposed to be
once
like
Warwick Davis was brought on, he wanted it to be more comical.
So basically, yeah, Warwick Davis was into it, but he was like but he was basically like he had the idea that there needed to be a lot more comedy elements into it, and they or like written into it, and they were like, yeah, that sounds good, and so they did that. And then the studio saw it and they said it needed more, like they needed it to be gorier, so they had to reshoot some scenes to make it actually a little bit less comical.
Really?
Yeah. This old Lep, he played one. He played pogo on his lawn.
I don't know if it's true, but Warwick Davis just looks like he's just fucking going ham.
He does seem like he's having a
He seriously looks like that's kind of what the most enjoyable part of the movie was for me. Was, I mean, Warwick Davis just like jumping on everyone and just, I loved his fucking his his little shoes.
Uh-huh.
It just always looked like he was doing a performance. I mean, well, let me rephrase that because it's a movie. So he looked like he was acting. No.
You say you want your voice to be lower.
This is the thing where I'm like, I have to. I'm getting. Whatever. Anyway, I
Sorry.
don't need to talk about it.
My fault. My
no,
fault.
no. I was just gonna say. I was just thinking about it.
Editor's note. That was my bad.
In the bathroom right before we started recording. I was like, if you listen to like the first episode versus now, I do feel like I've worked on making my voice a little bit like deeper and like not like being like, hi guys, you know, and so I'm doing like a little bit better, but I'm like, oh, I think I've also like tried to do more things with my voice and just like kind of stretch my voice a little bit. Yeah. And less about like trying to, you know,
Do good
I feel like I'm
customer
doing
service.
better with not what yeah, I'm not doing I'm thinking more about like how I want to talk and less about like customer service voice. Are you okay, babe? Why are you making that face?
Sorry.
You okay, babe?
Dennis Miller, ladies and gentlemen. Cha-cha.
The beginning when like the guy comes in from like Ireland
O'Grady.
and has like the fucking bottle of wine that he throws and it just lands on the ground with such a soft
Clearly it's
thud.
Irish whiskey. Don't be ridiculous.
Oh, really? I didn't notice. I don't know.
I'm
But
just
anyway,
assuming.
he throws it and it just goes. The sound it makes when it hits the ground is just like
Clink.
boom. I'm like, why show it him throwing it? Why make it a dramatic thing if it's just like boom?
Yeah.
It doesn't break, nothing.
It's fine if he throws it, but why do you see the bottle land
Exactly.
into the dirt? Agree.
But it made me think, because he was talking about my dad. So, okay. My dad
Chugs
is,
whiskey.
no, my dad's Irish. I'm German and Irish. My dad likes to make it seem
Axis
like
powers.
right. My dad likes to make it seem like we're a lot more Irish than German, but I feel like with a German last name that might not be true.
Yeah. And also, correct me if I'm wrong, ties to IBM money.
Okay.
Not to call
sort
out.
of, yes. I mean, like half of my family worked for IBM for their whole lives, but I have no connection. No, you're fine. You're fine.
Editor's note. Z is sitting on a pile of Nazi gold.
Which is great because like my mom's side of the
And
family,
Irish doubloons.
my mom's side of the family is all, you know, my mom's side of the family is Native American, and like I don't even know I don't even know if there's anything else but Native. Like I have no idea, like because it's
Unknown.
it's just like question
Christian mark.
and Native, and that's all I have. So like on my mom's side of the family, I know that I'm Native, and that's all I know about my mom's side of the family. And then my dad's side of the family is German and Irish, but they're all like, well, there's some German in there, but it's nominal. So I'm pretty sure I'm like I'm like terrified to like look into that family. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh no, what am I gonna find out? So it's like this horrible like sort of like juxtaposition. I don't know if I'm using that correct. Where it's like one side of my family is like severely oppressed, and the other side of my family is like we're Irish. But anyway, my dad.
I tell you, I dated someone who could trace their
Yes, you did.
to Werner von Braun.
You
I won't
did.
say names other than that.
But I need to tell the story.
Yes.
So, if my dad meets someone that is Irish, and what I mean by that is from the land of Ireland, the land of Ire, he compulsively tells them that he's also from Ireland. And I'm like, one, no, you're not. Two, I mean, he can trace his lineage back, like his sister or something like that, RIP, like did a lineage test, and they like traced back to when they came from Ireland. So they know where they came from in that regard. But it was like,
Must be nice.
right. It was like, it wasn't like they came over on a boat in like 1925 or something. Like,
Right.
like it's like, it's been a couple years.
It's not his parents or
Right, exactly. Yeah. I don't even think, anyway, whatever. I don't remember exactly. when, but it's not something like, he's first generation or some shit.
Right.
Sorry. So, but he loves telling people he's from Ireland, and I'm like, you can't say that if you've never been there. You can't tell someone. And he's like, "Oh, I'm from Ireland too," and and they always look at him like, "You fucking asshole!" Like, no, you're not. And
I mean, here's the thing: is like, I feel like it would be a very American thing to be like, "Oh, I'm Irish too," which is different than saying I'm from Ireland.
Exactly. That's the thing.
No, that's actually just not true.
Exactly. That's the
Patently
thing. And
false.
my mom's like, "No, you're," and he's like, "It means the same thing." And I was like, "It for sure does not mean the same thing." But he loves telling people he's from Ireland. Is all I could think of in the beginning when he's like, "Oh, hello, lass. I just got off the boat." What? Is he a pirate?
Unclear.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, that's the thing with the pirate accent.
Really?
Yeah, because it's a lot of.
This is my favorite Keith. I hope your microphone stinks. I don't know how it's gonna sound. Keith fully fit. Oh my god, I feel blessed that I got to see it. Anyway, that's our podcast.
All right. It's a quick look at Leprechaun.
Leprechauns. No. Okay. Also, in the beginning, when she hears like children singing
Lord.
and she just moves towards it, I wrote down, if you hear kids singing, bitch, run. Like, there's never a movie where you hear children singing where something good happens. Like, not even in like, not even if you're not talking about just horror movies. Like, there's never any instance where a children's choir or a group of children singing anything, especially if it like rhymes, if they're singing, you gotta run, because there's gonna be an air raid. There's gonna be like a fucking leprechaun is gonna stab you in the throat. You're gonna have someone with claws jump out of your own chest.
I will say
like something fucked up is gonna happen.
I think it's very dependent on how much reverb is on it. If you see two girls doing, or a handful of kids doing jump rope in the front yard, and they're singing a rhyme, but it's extremely resonant. Like, it sounds like it's
slow fucking motion.
Yes.
It's filmed in slow motion.
That's a red flag. You just,
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Head straight to the basement where you're going to die. Do us all a favor.
Do yourself a smart guy favor. Yeah.
Okay, so I have no desire to try to attempt to summarize the plot, other than to say, O'Grady found some gold, captured a leprechaun who is somehow imprisoned by a 4-leaf clover, and then he gets out and he wants his fucking gold, and serial killing ensues.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
But this is the thing that I was confused about, because they introduced all these characters, and I was like, there's no way that any of these characters are going to get killed, because they're the epitome of not killable characters.
Yeah, it's
because
also
you
like,
have
who
like
actually
a
dies,
kid.
now that I think about
you
it.
have a kid.
Right.
You have a teenager. You have the guy she's interested in, and you have a simpleton.
Yeah.
And I'm like, none of these people can die. And they had the dad, but I'm like, they can't kill him because
he just
she doesn't have.
disappears
Well,
for most
no,
of the movie.
I mean, yeah, but he's
accounted for. I just mean he's not on screen.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, like, I was like, they can't kill him, because then she's gonna have to go live with her mom or whatever, and it's just like, there's the movie, or
the premise.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so yeah, I was like, they can't kill any of these characters. So what happens is,
the shopkeep
he
dies.
just goes. I mean, I will say this: Leprechaun is like believes in like defunding the police, which is made very clear by the fact that he
lots of
pretty
cop
much
styles,
only
huh?
kills cops, which is cool.
Right
Like,
on.
I'm totally fine with that.
Maybe that'll be my outro.
Or you could do the
Bad boys.
you could do that one. No, you could do that one, but you could also do the Oko Obombo cop killer, which is the John Moss cover.
Oh, okay.
Don't put the John Moss one in.
Okay.
Because John Moss was there on January 6th.
Hanging out with Ariel Pink or
Yep.
whatever.
Mm-hmm. What a great guy. I mean, like, in a sense, like,
Couple of cool deeds.
this is the thing that I do struggle with this a little bit, because I'm like, I do understand, like, if someone was, like, there to, like, document what was happening. You know what I mean?
Sure,
And
but-
and then shit happened. Like, I mean, like, at the beginning, like, they were, like, there,
Yeah.
like, and they're, like, documenting it, and they're like,
Sure.
this is a fucked up white supremacist thing, and then shit got crazy, and they were like, bye, I'm out of here, like,
Right.
I'm running away. I understand that, but it, like, seemingly the people that were there were, like, defending themselves too hard.
Yeah.
They weren't like, oh yeah, it was totally fucked up, I can't believe what happened, I went there because I wanted to, like, film it and, like, you know, show, like, this fucked up part of history and, like, what was happening and how bad it was. They're not saying anything like that. They're all like, I think we're all free to do what we want. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not the right thing to say.
Meanwhile, Jay Johnson's still fully on the lam.
I just fucking love that people, the FBI tweeted, have you seen this person? And they're like, yeah, I've seen Bob's Burger. Fucking love
Yep.
it. Call a fart particle.
Farticle.
Particle. Yeah. But yeah, like, it's weird. Like, okay, so all that basically happens is,
None of the rules that are established are kept.
well, none of the rules make any sense. Like, well, they don't, I feel like they don't establish any rules. They just add stuff throughout. And you're
Yeah,
like, I don't know what
right.
the rules are. And they're just like the fact that he's, like, held in a little box because there's a 4-leaf clover set on top of it.
Yep.
And then the box, the 4-leaf clover gets knocked off of the top of it.
Even though
after 10 years,
Yep.
the dried up husk of a 4-leaf clover gets knocked off top.
And that's the thing, is they show it as old.
Yes, they show it as old and crusty, but it's like, it's not this is also what's confusing. They're like, they don't say, like, any 4-leaf clover. They're like, it has to be freshly picked. And I'm like, so if it has to be freshly picked, then wouldn't the other one have, like, lost its magic after it crusted up and died and turned brown and whatever?
These are the kinds of questions you have to put out of your head
It's
if you
true.
want
It's
to
true.
enjoy this movie.
It's true.
I just want to say there's a squirrel going ham over here, just bringing branches down to its little nest. It's going up and down and back.
Oh, shit.
I gotta
Please pause. And so that's how that happened.
pee. And then I said,
I said, he has a mobile phone, which I didn't realize at
yeah.
first. But I was like, what? It's like
1993.
1993. Jinx. It's like 1993, and it's so tiny for the time.
It really is. The fact that it's not connected to basically a car battery that she has to carry around
Exactly.
is very impressive.
Right.
Which, and is also an indicator of her class.
Correct.
Or I think meant to be.
Right. That and how much of a big deal they make of, like, how she's like, I'm a vegetarian. I want a watercress salad. I
Yeah,
want
and how
Evian
she
water.
keeps threatening to book a hotel room and never does.
Right. Yeah.
Successfully, anyway. The socio-political historian in me wants to point out that the Troubles were still ongoing at this time.
Oh, yeah.
I guess there was a ceasefire in '94. I'm not good on the history, really. I just want to point out.
Yeah.
This probably wouldn't have played well in the UK.
You know, I'm from Ireland.
No, I didn't know that. I thought you were from Florida. Which explains your accent.
Accurate. The amount of times that they take a shotgun to the fucking leprechaun,
Oh yeah,
I fucking love it.
it's
They
really
just
just that one guy. Isn't it?
also right, but I mean, like it happens so much. They just
It's true.
like, and my favorite thing is like when they kill or like when they
Shoot him.
yeah. It's just suddenly a dummy for like 30 seconds for no
Nope.
reason.
I know.
And then it's not, and I'm just like I don't understand when. I don't know, maybe it's like reshoots.
Blocking.
They were like
I don't know. Yeah.
But yeah, I love how
Also,
much-
it's a magical shotgun that I only remember seeing him reload once.
Did he ever? Because it
Once.
never runs
I
out of
remember once.
ammunition. Love it.
I think it's in the sequence when you just see the leprechaun going back and forth like on the skateboard. He's like,
Oh my god, that killed me. God.
successfully funny.
Yeah. No. Oh, so good.
There's also a great sequence where
I just love how the sound happens for so long, and they're like, "What's that? Where's it coming from?" And then suddenly it's just like a whole montage of him going back and forth in the hallway. Woohoo! Yeah! Wee-hee-ha! How long was he doing it before you noticed?
right, I know. The sequence also where the leprechaun's in the cupboards,
Oh yeah.
and it's Jennifer Aniston opens the door, and then he points the gun at the empty cabinet where the leprechaun just was, but now isn't. And then the leprechaun finally pops out of a drawer and grabs the dude in the dick.
Yeah. Also, his shoe fetish.
Yes, because he's a shoemaker.
He's a cobbler or whatever, and that's great. But like,
That's it. That's the whole explanation.
Obsessively, like, there is no cobbler in the world. First of all, if you're an actual cobbler, look, I'm just gonna say it. There's no way that you're gonna look at a fucking shitty ass American-made shoe and be like, "Ooh, yeah."
Shoes are made in the States.
That's fair. That's fair. But like, I mean, like, you know, like everyone's dirty, dusty old shoes. He's just like grabbing them and being like, and like piling them all on top of each other and like lining them up. And I'm like, there's no way that an actual like cobbler that like, yeah, there's no way.
Well, he's a magical creature. Okay.
Exactly. I'm saying he would see the non-magic in the shoe and be like, this is boring and this is ugly. And he would just like point out all the flaws is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, you know, he can't like shoes. I'm just saying it's impractical to think or illogical to think that he would like that he would just like find anything good out of like a shitty pump. That's
Called
my
out.
take.
Called out.
Thank you. Also, when they're just throwing shoes at him to distract him so they can get away.
It's pretty good.
And he's just like,
Yeah, moving from one to the next, just shining it for 2 seconds with his disgusting
bloody
rag.
rag. Yeah.
My favorite parts are anytime he has a vehicle.
Oh my god!
Or
And
mode of
how hard they
transportation.
work to give him a tiny vehicle that
Yeah.
he can. Oh my god!
How about when he steals the car, the tiny car,
Mhm.
but then there's first of all, the amount of times he runs back into the barn.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's just his go-to for whatever
Mhm,
reason.
mhm.
But and there's like 2 seconds of like sawing or welding sounds, and then he comes out with a car that's got a pitchfork on the front that he runs into a full-size human pickup truck, and it flips.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I still think the shoes make more of a point of inconsistency.
Oh, that's fine.
To his
I wasn't
character.
saying.
Just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Although it's great, as you point out, like in any of his interactions with police,
Yeah.
he
He's
gets
just
fucking
like-
pulled over,
Oh God. He's just like, come here. I want to
and
tell
that
you
cop
something.
that is all ADR.
Yes, like literally. Because there's like one scene where I swear to God, the only thing that sounds like it's actually coming from that actor is, and everything else, like even his like breathing is like ADR, and then he sniffs, and I'm like, those sound like two different sounds.
Towards the end,
I mean,
of
they
that
sound like they're
sequence
coming
right
from-
before he dies, I feel like it might be the actual actor. I can't tell. Anyway, yeah, that's wild.
It was, yeah. And he's just like, show yourself or whatever.
Who?
The cop.
Okay.
He's just like over and over, and he just like throws his baton in the air, like.
Oh no!
in-
Wait, you thought he was saying Viola.
Yeah, but he was saying like show. That's what I'm saying. He's like, but he's just saying it over and over, and I was like, what? And then he's like, finally, and I'm like, and he just like sits down, and I'm like, why wouldn't you just run out of the forest? Why are you sitting down and relaxing? This magical creature that you were running from has disappeared, and you're just like, finally, I can relax. Like, I don't, whatever. Also, okay, I want to say this. So Warwick Davis the Leprechaun gets, I don't know why. I was trying to do an Irish accent and I sound like I'm doing.
We went to South Asia.
Exactly. That was just a really bad attempt at Irish. Leprechaun. Okay, so the Leprechaun, he gets locked in the box or whatever. And when he gets let out, when the clover falls off the top, he's like, oh, my powers are weak.
Oh, yeah, because I'm far away from my gold.
He doesn't say that.
He does.
He does?
Or he just
He
established
says it at another time, though.
You only got away because me powers are weak. I need me gold.
I didn't register it until he got his gold back, and he's like, oh, my powers are coming back. And I'm like, that's what? It's just like, what? And then he just like becomes like this glowing mass of like, he just is able to like teleport and do all this fucking shit. And it's so, oh man. How about, I'm going to read this trivia.
Great.
Get your shit together.
I got my shit together. It's going to play until you tell me where.
Oh my god, it's gonna go. Okay, I found it. For the scene where Warwick Davis chases Jennifer Aniston in a wheelchair, Aniston had to run and jiggle in slow motion so that Davis could keep up with her as he had trouble manipulating the wheels. Run and jiggle.
And I don't know if any of you have ever tried to jiggle in slow motion.
Right.
It is not easy.
Jiggle what is what I'm curious about.
All right. Don't be body shaming.
I know.
The
I'm not
short
being. I'm not
Can
being.
I just say the shorts she's in are
Yeah, they're pretty banger.
they're in there.
Yeah, they are in there. Shorts, are they in you? 'Cause like Gatorade, is it in you?
Should, but shorts.
Yeah. This is a movie that I'm glad I watched, but I don't think it's that great.
Oh no, it's not good. A little bit of context. We had planned to watch it
Mm-hmm.
yesterday.
Evening.
Yeah, which is generally what we do. We tend to
Mm-hmm.
plan to watch things on Friday evenings
Mm-hmm.
after dinner or with
Mm-hmm.
dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, however, our internet went out
Mm-hmm.
around 5 p.m., 4, 5?
No, it was like 3:30.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And it wasn't coming back, so we
Yeah.
were like, do you want to just watch the movie? I only bring this up because, it totally threw us off.
Yeah.
For the rest of the evening.
Mm-hmm.
Just internal chronometer-wise.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it meant that I was sober
Yep.
for this viewing, which I think I would have had more fun if I wasn't.
Yeah.
So, that's my recommendation.
Yeah. Watch it drunk.
Well, whatever your...
Watch it with a cocktail.
Whatever your...
Yeah. Okay, so would you recommend? Only with a cocktail?
Yeah, with zero expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I think there's fun to be had with it.
Yeah, for sure.
But you have
Absolutely.
to completely let go of
Yes.
any idea of it
Yes.
making any
Yes.
sense.
Yes. I will say I was a little bored at times. It was
Yes.
hard. I think that was the most disappointing
Anytime
thing.
the Leprechaun is not on
Correct.
screen,
Yeah.
it drags.
Right. And I think I wanted there to be more like gore involved. I was
Yeah.
like a little disappointed at how like straightforward it kind of was in that way. Like it was mostly
Yeah,
just
right.
chasing them. It didn't really have much.
Yeah,
There
and
wasn't a lot to be afraid of, I guess.
Oh yeah, there's nothing scary about it.
Which I'm not saying that scary movies scare me, like horror movies don't scare me, but like there was no like element of like
There's
I
no real
wasn't
tension.
yeah, I wasn't scared he was gonna pop out or something. I was just like, okay, whatever, because like I knew none of the characters that were in it were going to die, so it was all just like
Right.
watching them catch him, and I'm like, okay, I gotta, you gotta catch him.
Yeah,
all right, we're gonna catch him, and like after like the halfway point, there's like no more.
I'm kind of curious about the sequels.
Same. Yeah, I am. So Warwick Davis basically has made like accusations that like Jennifer Aniston.
Oh yeah, denies that it existed.
Yeah, basically like snubs the movie or whatever. Like
Yeah.
she like gets bored. I don't know. Gets bored. What? Who am I? What's going on?
know.
I'm having a stroke. She just kind of like denies its existence. And I guess she like came out and said like she's not
She was embarrassed of it.
Yeah, she was
being
like
in it.
embarrassed about it. But the only reason it had any success was because she was in Friends and people heard about it
Yeah.
because but also it was filmed in 1991
Oh okay.
and didn't come out until 93.
Yeah.
But it was filmed like towards the end of 91. Like it was from like October to
She
December.
looks so baby.
She does, but
Even
yeah.
compared to Friends, I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but it's only like 3
Office
years.
Space.
Yeah. Oh God. I forget she was in that. Yeah, it's only like 3 years before she was in Friends, if that.
Uh-huh.
Because Friends came out in 94, so who knows when they actually filmed the pilot. So, yeah, anyway.
I will say it's also a little disappointing in that decent actors.
Yeah, right, exactly.
We talked about Aniston. Ken Orlant, I thought, did a fine job. You think he's a decent actor?
Yeah.
Mark Holton, is that what he said his name was? Francis Ozzy.
I mean, sure, yeah, I think that's something like that.
I think he's a good actor.
Yeah, he's fine.
It's too bad. The first part, I don't know, first act, whatever, first, third, fourth. The kid, Alex, I feel like gets the best lines.
Oh, for sure.
I think it's a good bit, but he says adult things.
Yeah. Also, I like at the end when he like slingshots the clover into the leprechaun's mouth, and he says, "Fuck you, Lucky Charms." That's pretty good.
Oh yeah. Do you want to talk about the Lucky Charms?
Oh yeah, I guess like Lucky Charms like gave the approval to like
General Mills.
Yeah, General Mills was like, it's chill if you use our cereal in your movie, and then like they saw some of it, or they like saw what was going on with it, and they were like,
Never mind.
never mind. They revoked their permission to use it, so they had to like reshoot. So instead of Lucky Charms, it says like Lucky Clover. Yeah, but it looks almost exactly the same. Like I was fooled. I was like totally fooled. I was like not even paying attention.
But then,
Yeah.
that line.
Yeah. And then, but they say "fuck you, Lucky Charms" because of that. Supposedly, that's what that's what the notoriously fucking
historically accurate.
Yeah, is accurate, like
thoroughly vetted.
Yeah, strictly vetted IMDb trivia says. We all know that IMDb trivia is
Yeah. So yeah, this is totally late night.
Yeah.
It's not a movie worth giving a lot of
Correct.
your attention to while it's on. I mean, that sounds horrible. I just mean like
No, it doesn't.
you're
sound
not.
horrible.
Don't worry about missing anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Although I did miss a lot. I missed so much.
Important plot points.
It was so hard. It was so hard to pay attention to this one for me. I was so.
Yeah.
I was like, oh god. Which is disappointing for me because I really wanted to. And like a lot of it was like me, just like I was just like reading trivia about it while I was watching the movie because I was like, I don't.
Yeah, I mean it's a little disappointing. You know, like you want it to be so bad it's good, or more schlocky than it is. And
I wanted there to be a lot more like unrealistic gore.
Yeah.
I really wanted that. Oh God, what about the pogo? The
That's a
scene
good
where
one.
he
That's a
pogo.
good- That's one of the best things.
Truly, Warwick Davis is.
It's kind of downhill from when after the shopkeeper
yeah,
dies.
Yeah. Warwick Davis is the best part of it though. Like truly,
absolutely.
like anything where he's just like ridiculous, and he's doing the part where he's
There's
like
all these one-liners, but they never land.
Oh, 100%.
Why are they always
I know.
off?
Oh, it's terrible.
Anyway.
And they find the gold, and the fucking Francis dude
don't wanna talk
just
about the
swallows a
gold.
gold coin. What the fuck? Why? I don't want to talk about the gold. Keith's traumatized.
I am. I want me gold! Where's me gold? Shut the fuck up.
Also that he has to have like all 100 or whatever coins. Like, come on.
Right.
Come on. Come on, buddy.
Come on, buddy.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. Okay.
Yeah.
And the rainbow that happens once.
The what?
Rainbow.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's so stupid. It's so fucking stupid.
Anyway. But it's goofy, you know.
Yeah. And technically, I mean, I think in some ways, I mean, the gold is, in theory, still out there somewhere. I don't know where it's at.
Yeah. When he gets trapped, he's not. Oh.
He gets burned. He gets blown up when they put.
All right, they knock him down. They shoot the
well.
clover into his throat, and then he gets pushed down the
Then he
well,
throws
and then they
himself
set him
into a
on
well, and then
fire.
they set him on fire.
But then he crawls back up, and he says,
No. He crawls back up, and they knock him down, and then they set him on
Then they
fire,
set
and
him
then
on
it
fire.
blows up.
Doesn't he crawl out and he's all melted?
No, that's what happens when the clover goes down his
Okay.
throat. He starts melting.
It's almost like it's kind of like the ending of The Vineyard.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's exactly what
Where
I
my
thought of. 100 because he like
my
starts
favorite
turning.
review I read of The Vineyard that said this movie doesn't end so much as it stops. It just ceases to continue. So good.
Yeah, no, that's true.
My amulet.
Where's my amulet?
James Hong, motherfuckers, 93 years old.
Oh, still kicking.
Yeah.
Keep going, bro.
I didn't know this. You told me this. Warwick Davis was 11 years old when he was in Return of the Jedi.
Yep.
Apparently auditioned because his grandma saw something in the paper calling for people 4 feet
Yeah.
or shorter.
Yeah.
And he was already a Star Wars fan.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess, according to Wikipedia, Mark Hamill bought him every Star Wars action figure that he didn't already own.
Oh, so sweet. Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill, star of Corvette Summer.
Man, there's a sweet thing where Mark Hamill, he said, I mean, it's not like 100% the best quote, but like someone asked him if like Luke could possibly be gay, and he was like, yeah. He was like, why wouldn't he be? He's like movies and film and art, he's like, it's all about how you feel about the character. And he's like, if you look at the character and you see yourself or you see him as gay, then that's what he is. And that's it. You know, there's
Right.
no arguing. And I'm like, thank you, Mark Hamill.
I mean, tried to fuck his sister, so.
I've always known.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yay!
Bring the gold and I'll bring me sack. Don't be looking for no trouble, I've got friends to watch me back, see. Bring the gold and all the wishes I don't grant, but I'll grant you golden showers, Irish springing from me pants, yeah. Coins? I'm like a fucking Mario brother with me fucking coins. Purple horseshoes? Sure, if they be nailed to a golden horse. Bring the gold or I'll bring the pain, sentimental or the dental, if it's gold it's all the same, see. Bring the gold, don't try to trick me with your ass, cause I'd only fucking do you if you bore a golden lass. You know I don't give a fuck about your fucking cash. Keep your fucking cash to line your panties. Bring the gold, you know who I am. I won't kill you fucking softly, I will kill you like a ham, see. Bring the gold, I want every kind. Every fucking golden morsel, every golden thing is mine. Another funny story, the rainbow goes nowhere. Point being, St. Patrick's a queef, 'tis my holiday.